He was never really interested in acting. He loved the view of the ocean. He was an adrenaline junkie for whom cars became an important part of life. Unfortunately, this passion led to his death. Paul Walker, the heartthrob and the possessor of one of the most charming smiles in Hollywood. What made him give up his childhood dream? Why was it hard for him to find a girlfriend? And how is he connected with the scandalous sex parties of a famous businessman? It's Biographer. Sit back, we're starting. Childhood Paul William Walker IV was born on September 12, 1973 in Glendale, Southern California. His father, Paul Walker III, worked in the construction sphere as a sewer contractor. In the past, he was professionally engaged in boxing and even became a two-time champion of the Golden Gloves. The mother of the future actor, Cheryl Crabtree Walker, was a model in her youth, and after marriage and the birth of children, she completely plunged into household chores. There were enough things to worry about. In addition to Paul, the family had 4 other children, 2 younger brothers, Caleb and Cody, and 2 sisters, Ashley and Amy. The whole family professed Mormonism. Dissatisfied with her career, Cheryl tried to realize her lost opportunities in her son. That's why he had been immersed in the advertising and modeling business since childhood. Cheryl constantly took her son to auditions, and her husband supported her. When the boy was a year and a half, Paul starred in an advertisement for Pampers diapers. So the first works of the young Paul were the TV series, The Young and the Restless, Highway to Heaven and Who's the Boss? And his debut in the big cinema took place in 1986 in the comedy horror film Monster in the Closet. In 1988, Paul participated in the children's TV show I'm Telling. It should be noted that the young Paul was not enthusiastic about such career choice made by his parents. He didn't see himself as a model. He wanted to be a future researcher. Impressed by Cousteau's TV shows, he was fond of the aquatic world and built aquariums. The boy loved to snorkel, took care of tropical fish. In addition, in a family where men worked in traditional male professions, like construction sphere, police, etc., the brothers treated Paul's interests with ridicule. This is what made the future actor not to abandon his unloved profession. Paul was sure that because of his non-masculinity, he was not able to do something else. But there was another side of the family's occupations, which greatly influenced the actor's future. Quote, I grew up hunting and fishing, I've always been into archery, I've always been into cars. In my family, that was just stuff we did. That's just the way it was. When I was in high school, we would go to the races every now and then. This is how Paul would later explain his passion for fast driving and cars. When Paul was about 7, he met Oakley Lehman. He will not only become his best friend, but will also work with the actor in several projects such as Joyride and The Fast and the Furious as his understudy. After graduating from high school in 1991, the young man studied marine biology at several colleges. He also constantly traveled and surfed. For several more years, he hoped to link his life with this sphere and perhaps even become a second Cousteau. On the way to success, Paul began to make a name for himself thanks to small roles in popular TV series. He was especially productively involved in youth projects of the early 90s, where he got episodic roles. In 1990, he appeared in the episode Dead Puck Society of the TV series Charles in Charge. He played the role of Russell Davis, the cutest guy in the class, who is trying to use the main heroine to do his homework. The following year, the actor appeared in the TV series What a Dummy and Who's the Boss? Paul's type of appearance assumed the roles of a dream teenager, with curly blonde hair and a perfectly matched sweater. A little later, the actor was lucky to get a fairly major part of Brandon Collins in the TV series The Young and the Restless. He appeared on screen for 22 episodes from 1992 to 1993. The project was one of the longest running on American television and revealed the themes of confrontation between different social strata of the population. Eric Breeden, who played one of the main roles in the series, recalling their joint work, called him incompetent and an easygoing Southern California guy. Quote, I've worked with quite a few young people over the years, but I had a feeling that he would make it on the big screen. You find very few actors with his basic honesty or sincerity. This role attracted attention to Paul because of his appearance and acting abilities, and also earned him a nomination for the Youth in Film Awards in the category Best Leading Actor in TV Series. In 1994, he again had a cameo role in the pilot episode of the TV series, The Boys Are Back. The first film of his youth was the comedy Tammy and the T-Rex by Stuart Raffel, where the actor had one of the main roles. He was a high school student named Michael, who by chance became a dinosaur robot. His partner on the set was Denise Richards. Nobody expected anything good from this movie initially. On Rotten Tomatoes, it got 4 out of 10 points. Paul returned to the screens 2 years later in the drama series Touched by an Angel by John Massius. We can talk about a stable career rise in the life of a young actor from 1998. He starred in 2 movies, the Steve Boyum comedy, Meet the Deedles, and the Gary Ross dramatic comedy, Pleasantville. In the first movie, the actor played the main role of Phil Deedle, one of the Bum twins, who, after going through trials and adventures in the story, realizes the wisdom of life. Boyum's directorial debut received mostly negative reviews from film critics. He also failed in the box office, grossing only $4 million with $24 million spent on it. Raphael Modemeyer, a critic, describes Paul's acting like this. Quote, "He's charming one, as he spends most of the film tied in a romantic subplot with a female ranger he declares his love for after 20 seconds of knowing her. Walker manages to balance his surfer dude persona with the kind of endearment that would allow the Fast and Furious franchise to become what it has. Despite this, the main role in the film and his face placed on the poster was undoubtedly a breakthrough for the young actor. In Pleasantville, Paul was lucky to get into a good cast: Tobey Maguire, Reese Witherspoon, William Macy, Jeff Daniels, and others. If you think that the actor got a new interesting image in this movie, then we should disappoint you. Skip Martin is a classic school handsome young man who has an affair with the main heroine. It leads to irreversible consequences, according to the idea of the plot. Neither the black and white color gamma nor the short haircut could spoil the charm of Paul. In an interview, the actor admitted that participating in the film was just a way to earn money in order to be able to do what he loved. Pleasantville became the actor's first successful film. It was because of this movie that the young man was noticed by both critics and viewers. Unfortunately, despite the excellent reviews, Pleasantville was not successful at the box office, grossing less than the spent budget. However, this did not prevent it to receive 3 Oscar nominations. In 1999, Walker appeared in 3 films. The first one was the youth melodrama Varsity Blues, shot by Brian Robbins. Later, it will become a cult among American youth. The film touches on issues of problems and difficulties faced by high school students, troubles of self-realization through the story of a particular football team. The actor became Lance Harbor, a handsome football player, captain and defender of the team, as well as the best friend of the main character. Under the influence of other people's interests and greed, Paul's character faces a difficult moral and ethical choice, which affects his career. In an interview with the Daily Cougar, the student newspaper of the University of Houston, Walker fondly recalled the filming of Varsity Blues. Quote, "It was like going back to high school 40 football players, a gang load of cheerleaders, all for 3 months, while we're hanging out and having a good time." Bustlecom noted that Walker's appearance in Varsity Blues became his breakthrough role in Hollywood, praising his approach to the part. Walker impressed both fans and critics, the website summed up. Entertainment-wise, Com wrote that it was Varsity Blues that made Walker one of the new golden boys of teen movies. Colleagues on the set spoke very warmly about working with Paul. "From the first day he became a real friend," Ron Lester said. Elil Swinton recalled. "5 young guys in a van, early in their careers, acting like college buddies. A lot of people know Paul loved cars, but I'll cherish the fact that we both lived the game of football on and off set. We were ballers in the youth drama. She's All That. For the first time, Paul got a role of quite a negative character. It was a bad boy high school student Dean Sampson, a friend of the main character, inciting him to various obscenities. In an interview, Paul confessed why he chose such a hero. Quote, "I just wanted to play the villain, that was the main thing. If they had asked me to do the main character, I wouldn't have wanted the role. I got the opportunity to play the bad guy for a change." Already at that time, the actor's fatigue from the created image was felt. In an interview, he admitted that he would like to change the direction of the chosen roles. "Actually, there's quite a concern that I might get stuck in this sort of thing." The picture received mixed reviews, but completely paid off, grossing $100 million. It was accused of numerous clichés and miscalculations in the script, and Godfrey Cheshire from Variety called the picture an absolute mediocrity, in which the creators did not try to go beyond the conventions. At the same time, the film won several Youth Film Awards, 2 Teen Choice Awards, a Kids' Choice Award, and earned an MTV Movie Award nomination. In the thriller Brokedown Palace, Walker had a small role. It was so small that he wasn't not even mentioned in the credits. By the way, Paul auditioned for the role of Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars franchise around the same period, but did not pass because of his age. He was too old. Later, the actor admitted that this was the only role he really dreamed of. The actor was quite active in his personal life. Even during the filming of Tammy and T-Rex, Paul was credited with an affair with Denise Richards. But neither Paul nor Denise have ever confirmed or denied this fact. In 1998 in California, the actor met Rebecca McBrain, who was a school teacher in Hawaii. Soon, Rebecca gave birth to Walker's daughter Meadow. However, the couple never got married. Paul considered himself too young for a wedding. This became a stumbling block, as well as the fact that the actor did not pay enough attention to the girl, preferring to spend time with friends. After the breakup in 1999, Rebecca went to Hawaii and raised her daughter until the age of 13. After that, Meadow moved to live with her father, and the woman got an alcohol addiction. Only after the death of her ex-boyfriend, Richards returned to California, underwent rehabilitation, and fought for custody of her daughter with Paul's mother. After breaking up with Rebecca, Walker was soon seen at the premiere of the film True Values with a mysterious stranger. And in April 1999, Walker met Bliss Alice on the set of the film Varsity Blues, where the girl participated in the extras. The couple had been dating for several years. The young actor's career continued to develop. His roles in the films She's All That and Varsity Blues made him famous, and he was able to easily move on to more mature roles. At the beginning of the new millennium, Rob Cohen's thriller, The Skulls, was released. Paul played a negative hero there. His character was a daddy's son who grew up in an atmosphere of luxury and permissiveness, a handsome man and a dream of women, spending his life in carelessness and endless celebration. Director Rob Cohen was pleased with the work with Walker. Quote, "Working with Josh and Paul was thrilling. Paul was just coming up, but this is where my bond with Paul was formed because I saw so much potential in him. And I put him toe-to-toe with an actor who is really seasoned, and he rose to the occasion, and I loved him. The guts he had not to cave in, knowing in every scene he was going up against an actor who had been on camera 10 times more than he had." The teen thriller was received very coolly. Critics found the plot far-fetched and predictable, and the dialogues were considered funny. The acting was also criticized and called excessive. Despite it, the picture paid off and grossed $50 million. It was the acquaintance and collaboration with Rob in The Skulls that gave Paul the opportunity that would make him famous all over the world. Of course, we are talking about the cooperation with Rob Cohen in the next project. The Fast and the Furious Rob Cohen was inspired to create the film after he read a series of articles in Vibe magazine in 1998 called Racer X about illegal street racing in New York. At first, the movie was planned to be called Redline, but in the end they chose the title we know because it was more in the spirit of street racing. Seeing potential in Paul, the director offered him the role of Brian O'Connor, an undercover cop who infiltrated Dominic Toretto's gang of street racers and investigated a multi-million-dollar truck theft. He was the first actor to sign up for the project. In an interview, he explained how starring in a completely different movie led to the mega blockbuster. Vin Diesel, who played the second main role of Dominic Toretto, had to be persuaded to participate in the film, but in the end, it turned out to be a good duet. During the shooting, the actors became friends not only in the movie, but also in real life. They became so close that, when Diesel had a daughter in 2008, he named her Pauline in honor of his friend. And when Walker died, Vin became the godfather of his daughter Meadow. Paul himself described their relationship this way: "Our chemistry is that we don't have any chemistry. We respect each other as human beings." The first part of the franchise was filmed in the state of California, USA, mainly on the streets of Los Angeles and in some locations in California. Almost all the crazy tricks Diesel and Walker did on their own. Both actors went to a racing school in Las Vegas to prepare for the roles. They even trained to drive Formula One cars. Rob Cohen recalled, quote, "We could see right away Paul was going to be an ace driver. It was clear he had a natural talent. He had no fear. You could see he was falling in love with the whole car business." During the filming, they used a large number of cars, 80 tuning cars, 78 of which were broken, both on-screen and off-screen. An experienced street racer was hired to consult the actors. He advised them to purchase a 1995 Mitsubishi Eclipse GSX, a 1994 Toyota Supra RZ, and a 1993 Mazda RX-7 for the main characters. Since everyone understood that the cars would crash, 5 pieces of each brand were bought. The studio spent $10,000 each. For his first serious role, Paul received the first huge fee, $1 million. The Fast and the Furious was originally supposed to be released worldwide in March 2001, but was postponed until the summer. The film received mixed reviews. It was criticized for the script, but praised for the fighting scenes and performances of Walker and Diesel. To everyone's surprise, Universal's movie became a cultural phenomenon, eventually turning into a multi-billion-dollar franchise and one of the company's most profitable projects. It became an inspiration for a huge number of car fans, and it still remains today. Brian O'Connor's iconic car, the bright orange Toyota Supra, has become one of the iconic icons of the Japanese automotive community. After the success of The Fast and the Furious, Paul woke up as a celebrity. Success finally reconciled him to acting, which had been bothering him for a long time. Now he was recognized on the streets. O'Connor became a target hit for Paul. During the chat to promote The Fast and the Furious, Walker described himself as crazy about cars. And in an interview called The Shoot, a dream job, his passion for cars and racing manifested itself in real life. Walker admitted that he liked to drive at a speed of almost 200 miles per hour and often received fines for violating traffic rules. Quote, "I love doing action. I'm still just a big kid. My favorite days are the days I get to show up. When I'm making a movie like this, I want to run and jump and blast dudes around, hop over fences. That was the first week for me on this one. For the first week, I was the only returning actor that showed up every day." The Fast and the Furious grossed more than $207 million worldwide, despite the fact that only $38 million was spent on its production. Not surprisingly, the film had a sequel. In 2003, Too Fast, Too Furious was released. In 2009, Fast and Furious. In 2011, Fast 5, and in 2013, Fast and Furious 6. Vin Diesel did not want to star in the second part of the franchise. Some sources claimed that the actor was not satisfied with the $25 million fee. Others, that he did not like the script of the second part. This gave Walker the opportunity to get more screen time and become the leader of the franchise. But Diesel's return to the filming of the third part had a positive result for both actors. Since the fourth film, the franchise's business had gone into overdrive. In 2014, Paul received the MTV Movie Award for Best Screen Duo with Vin Diesel for the film Fast and Furious 6. However, after its release, Paul admitted that he was not sure if he wanted to continue participating in the franchise. This was partly due to the fact that the director of the project changed. Justin Lin was replaced by James Wong. In addition, he felt the fear of getting stuck in the image. Quote, "I feel like I'm at a crossroads. Things started taking off for me when I was pretty young, and I'm still trying to make sense of the whole thing. Now I'm at a place where the franchise wouldn't let me go. And it's fun to come back and just go play around and have fun and drive cars. Man can't live by racing alone.